What's up guys, it's June. Today's video I'm going to show you guys how I make quick and easy brine shrimp. Get a couple bottles. I got these from Walmart. They're 22 ounces, nice and clear. They come in different sizes like teal, blue, purple, and I find it perfect. I think they're like $1, maybe $1.50 each. I grabbed a couple of them. Comes with the top, you don't need it. Filled it up almost all the way with tank water, and then I grabbed some salt. I use aquarium salt that I have left over, but you guys can use any type of non-iodized salt. Just put a little bit in. I think they want the salinity to be at 25 parts, so I think it roughly estimates to about a tablespoon. I think they say a quart. I think some people use like a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons per gallon. I just eyeball it and it's been working fine. So I'll take that empty bottle, kind of fill it up with water, put in some brine shrimp eggs. I got mine off of Amazon, I think. You can get yours pretty much anywhere. A lot of places sell them. You want to look for that hatch rate. So something above 90% is probably the highest I've seen. I don't think they can claim 100% hatch rate, but you want something 90%, at least something above 80%, and you shouldn't have any eggs floating around that aren't hatched. So this is what it looks like, and then let's go ahead and put some eggs in there. Okay, so I've got API aquarium salt. I use this because I've had this for a really long time. I don't think there's an expiration date on it, but it's what I've had left over from what I purchased before. I know a lot of people use like those big bags of water softener salt. Just make sure it's it's clean, it's 100% salt. And then these are eggs. Got these off of Amazon. So it's a 2-ounce bag. It's still really full. I don't know, I guess more than half because it doesn't come all the way. So it's got 90% hatch rate, hatch time 18 to 36 hours. So normally I cycle mine every 48 hours, so every 2 days. I've tried to do it at a 24-hour period, and then just that all the eggs just weren't hatched. So we got an expiration date of 10/22. This is 2 ounces, but then it's still a lot. So when I'm not using it, I store it in my fridge, and every time I need it, I take it out. Get your water, eyeball your aquarium salt, try not to spill it everywhere. So I don't know if you can, let's see, so I don't know if you can see that, but it's not a lot. It's probably like half a quarter tablespoon. I don't worry about mixing it because it will mix soon, you'll see. And I just take any little scooper and then open up the bag, and I use the end of it because this is just too much, and I'll probably spill a lot trying to get in there. So I'll take some end of it and then just drop it in. I usually do about 2 of those, and that's plenty enough. All right, make sure you seal it up and then pop it back in the fridge. So if you can see, the brine shrimp eggs, they tend to float. So just give it a little swirl, and then you'll slowly start to see that they'll start sinking to the bottom. But I don't know if they'll sink, but they'll get inside the water column. All right, so that's what it looks like. It's all in there. I don't know if you guys can make that out. Then we take it over to the tank. Okay, over in my tank, I've got the one that I started 2 days ago. So we're gonna remove that. Now it's connected to the air pump. You're gonna need air for circulation. Remove that old one.
Daddy, let the baby.
Oh, actually,
The baby.
this one. Pop off the bottom, prevents rust, so you might as well do that. Just twist it off easily. And then what I use is PVC 2 elbows. I mean, it's not glued, but you can glue it if you want, I guess. It's just easy for me to feed the air hose through without gluing it. And then the reason you don't want to fill it up all the way is this part you still want it to be able to float so it doesn't sink into the tank. And then the PVC pipe is going to hold it in place. So just put that air in there. As you can see, the air is circulating. That's going to keep the eggs rotating. It's also going to move the water so the salt melts. And then you hook this onto the edge of your tank. And boom, it's going to stay right in place. And you don't have to worry about any heaters because you already have the heater in the tank. So the heat from the water is going to create the ambient temperature to heat the water inside the bottle as well. They do require, I think, like somewhere 75 to 85 degrees to be able to hatch. So let's go look at what it looks like after. All right, so I've got the light on top of my tank. I have 2 containers. I'll take, and once it looks cloudy like that, like a nice orange color, that's when the brine shrimp hatched. If it's more dark, then you can see that there are still eggs. Like if you look at the bottom, there's still eggs. I believe the hatched eggs will float to the top, and then I don't know if hatched eggs sink to the bottom, but I feel like those are the 10% or more that are unhatched. But you want to look for that orangey color, and that shows you that they've hatched. So then I'll pour it out, try to be as even as possible. And the reason I leave it by the light is because these guys are drawn to the light. And I just wash this guy out and rotate a new batch in 36 to 48 hours. So let's try this. All right. So if you can tell on the top, the decapsulated, I believe that's what they say, eggs are floating around. So essentially you want the swirl to stop so it's motionless and all you have is your brine shrimp moving around. Let's see if you can see them. Yeah, as you can already see in the left one, that's where the bulk of them are. The right one, you can still see some. And once everything is calmed down, they'll be drawn to the light, so it's easy to siphon them out. So essentially, they're gonna be all around this side. For some reason with these containers, I don't know, it's because the light reflects, like they end up, half here and half over there. We're gonna I just grab another clean container, and then my long pipette, and then what I do is just suck them out and put them into here. Then we're gonna let that calm down for a few minutes so we can transfer them over. All right, well, it hasn't been 5 minutes, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna try to scoop out the eggs. The eggs that are floating, hopefully not to get too many shrimp. Hey, babe.
Hi, Daddy. Hey,
Be careful.
you have money.
What?
You have money.
Where's my money?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just keep that up, and then hopefully the top will be clean when we come back in a few minutes. All right, it's probably been a couple of minutes. But you can see over there, they're already starting to gather. And if you look down here, you can see a lot more. Similar on this side. See a little cloud of orange right there. Then there's definitely a lot more here. And from the side, oh, it just looks like they're everywhere. So what I do with the pipette is I'll press it to suck out the air and then put it in. And once it gets to the bulk of them, I'll slowly release so it starts to get a lot of them. And then my main goal of this is less water, more brine shrimp. And then I'll just put it right into there. You can already see inside the pipette, there's a lot of little baby brine. So I just started doing this a lot more recently because My Africans here, they just keeps popping out babies. So what better to feed them than some live baby brine shrimp? Oops. All right. You can see there's a lot in there. So this way works really good for me. You know, nothing fancy. No $30 brine shrimp kits. I think I spent like, I don't know, 12 bucks on the eggs. Spent a couple of dollars on some bottles. And I had the rest. Obviously, these are Tupperware containers. I actually believe I got plants from PetSmart in those. No, actually it was these two. I'm not sure, those are probably from food. And then I already had that PVC pipe laying around. I'm just gonna keep doing this process until we get most of them. Now, you're not gonna get all of them. I mean, unless you take out all the water. But that's not bad. So doing this, I already kind of see there's some in there. See the cloudiness. Here actually I'm trying to see how big I can get the brine shrimp to grow. I mean, you can already see there's some movement in that one. They're not as orange anymore. That's probably about 6-7 days old. Yeah, it's completely just an experiment. I'm pretty sure I should put an air stone in there. I've been feeding them a little bit of spirulina powder, but I still extract some from there from time to time. But yeah, you can see these guys are completely orange, moving really fast. And those, there aren't too much in there, but they are probably about triple the size. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I've gotten a majority of them out. You can still see a little bit movement in the top and bottom of these containers. And the majority of them are right in there. And just like the other containers, they'll also migrate to now what is the top and the bottom. It's more towards the light and opposite of the light. And then here's where it's a little bit different. So a lot of people, I think, will rinse them before they put it into their tanks. Just because when you're adding salt to the tank, only way the salt will come out is if you do water changes. Evaporation, that's all water. Salt will stay in the tank. And I guess, you know, you just don't want that salinity to build up. But I actually do it this way, and I'll just take the pipette and suck it straight out and squirt it straight into my tank. I've been doing it for months now, and I've had no issues, because I guess my theory is that it's aquarium salt, and I really believe that salt can be beneficial for fish. You know, obviously just at moderate amounts. So, I mean, I haven't had any issues doing that, and it's a lot easier for me. I mean, I might switch to it. So, you know, if you guys think that I should and I shouldn't, just dump it straight in, and I should rinse it, I guess let me know. And you know, I mean, like, if you look here, you can already see they're starting to divide. You can see the bulk of them at the top and the bottom. I mean, you still see a lot in the middle, but the reason I do this is when I go with the pipette and suck, you know, it's less water per brine shrimp, if that makes sense. It's more dense. So essentially it'll be less salt water I'm putting in. And then sometimes I'll just, you know, I'll even grab some fresh water, and then, you know, I'll dilute it a little bit just so it isn't as salty when I put it in there. But yeah, now I just stirred them all up, and I've got to wait a few more minutes for them to settle. But it shouldn't take too long. But yeah, I mean, this has been working for me really well. So you can already see they're starting to group up. So let me just do a couple feedings here. I'm just gonna grab it from the bottom right here. So it looks like most of them are there. So let's see if it'll focus in. I don't know if it will, but you see all the ones in the test tube. This tank, you know, they already know the drill. This tank there isn't a lot. You see them right there, they're all coming down. They go crazy for it. And then these guys also know the drill. I can do this one-handed. They'll just start coming to the top, waiting for it. I'll feed this probably once a day, and then I crush up flakes for those guys. The smaller ones can't really do crushed up flakes yet. Well, actually, they kind of can. But this is a lot easier for them to eat. Do a long grab for that. I've got these fry, which are probably 3 days old. I've gotten them used to the drill here also. All right. And I just noticed last week that I finally got, I don't know if you can see them, some multi-fry. You can see them right there, right under. They're all hiding in those shells. So we finally got some fry out of these guys. It's probably several. I mean, like literally probably 7 or less. I don't know how many fry they have at a time, but can you see the color of them and the color of my substrate? Like, they were impossible to see at first because they were probably about a quarter, maybe a third about the size they are now. And they were still eating the baby brine shrimp fine, so maybe there were a lot more who just kind of died off because they weren't big enough to eat the brine. I'm not sure, but I don't know, you know, how many they lay at a time. Maybe if I, no, the tank's dirty. But yeah, you guys can see one right above the wood, one right between the shells. So it's really cool. Really excited that they finally had some fry. So let's check back to see if this is spreaded more. I don't know, can you guys, does it look like it's spreaded more? I don't know, but it eventually will. So that's what it looks like. As you can see, there's a lot. It's a lot of brine, and I probably still have a good amount in these containers too. It's probably about 80%. I took them out. Yeah, you can see right there, you can definitely see some more movement. But yeah, I mean, that's it. So overall, it's pretty simple. I mean, I feel like I should be rinsing my brine, but like I said, it's easiest way, quickest way, and get a good, really good hatch rate. So yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, let me know if you guys need, you know, any references, I guess, of where I got my brine shrimp from, where you can find, you know, any of these bottles. I mean, you can do. I think when I first did this, I've used just regular water bottles, but then they have those little ridges on the side, so pouring them out kind of sucks because they'll get caught there. But yeah, I mean, I've done this a couple different ways. I've looked on a lot of videos on YouTube and kind of thought what I had in my house, and without having to buy any, you know, new equipment, just kind of make it work. So yeah, it's really easy. So if you guys are on the edge thinking about if you guys should hatch baby brine shrimp for your fry, just go ahead and do it. You know, there's a lot in that package. You know, it's like 15 bucks. I think you kind of learn along the way. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.